Hey, Maria, back with another video. It's what, 7:37. I've been making a few videos today, just because so many things have been flowing through my mind. I guess why I wanted to make this video is, number one, did I not get my ashtray in here? I don't think I did. Well, that's okay. I'll just use something else. Number one, I was thinking about, the foolishness of the whole situation. I received a text message from a former employer who I'm going to refrain mentioning, but he was basically lying through his teeth, as well as everyone else was lying through their teeth. And I get tired of it. It's like, as if these weird situations just happen by coincidence, You can't fool me. You can't, okay? There's too many things. There's too much evidence. There's too many things to remember. The thing is that I think a lot of people have a lot of preconceived ideas about me, which are unfounded. You can't know everything about a person just by looking at them. Like, I used to assume that when I was younger, that every old lady was just a sweet old lady. Like the kind of old lady I was describing in a video a few days ago. Like, they were the kind of person that would bake cookies, and they never did anything wrong. And if they did do something wrong, it was something really small and minor, And when I was younger, I would get taken advantage of because, in the back of my mind, I would look at these old women, and my heart would melt. It's like, I remember this one lady, she conned me out of like $60 one time, because she told me she needed medication, she needed this. Later I found out that her medication was actually crack, and that shocked me. It shocked me because it's like, in my mind I kept thinking, okay, you're like somebody's mother, you're like a grandmother, like that doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Because in my limited view of understanding at that time, I was coming out of my teenage years. I didn't really experience what I call the evils of the world. I mean, I'd seen some of it, but like, I was starting to open my eyes up a little bit more. Like, just because somebody's old doesn't mean they're sweet. Okay, there's a lot of old people that they do all kinds of evil things. Okay, and that stuck in my mind, and I realized that I was wrong to assume that. And so a lot of people, they make assumptions about me. Like, maybe they assumed that I was a part of the family arrangement that Joel's a part of. I'm not a part of that. Trust me, I would never be a part of something like that, okay? And some people would just assume that I would go along with it just because I was white. I had no idea about any of that until, like, I would say about a year and a half ago. And when I found out, I slowly but surely, I was still friends with him, I still laugh and talk with him, but I was slowly kind of pulling away. And now I'm at the point where it's like, I'm so thoroughly disgusted by all of it. I'm just absolutely disgusted. I think I understand what this is about, and that's so fucking sick. It's like, I couldn't respect somebody, that kind of family. I can't, okay? On a casual basis, like hi and bye or whatever, but to be a part of something like that, fuck that. That's disgusting. I'm not like that. I think that some of this got initiated from Joel anyway, because I remember having a conversation one time at work about, how so many people put too much emphasis on sex. And they do. They put so much emphasis on sex that this is all they think about, okay? And I'm not one of those people, okay? I'm just not. And so, that's just how it is. I'm just not. And I get tired of people trying to, force that sort of bullshit down my throat. Okay? I believe sex has its place, but it's not something I'm obsessed about, and I don't want to deal with that. I don't. To me, it's like there's certain things that go on in life that can literally repulse me. And anything that relates to that is disgusting, plain and simple, okay? So going back to preconceived ideas, there's a lot of people that they look at me, I'm an African-American woman, so they think this, and this, okay? That's bullshit. everybody has an individual personality, believe it or not, you know. And yeah, I'm African American. I mean, there's certain things that I do, like for example, New Year's. Okay, I have certain New Year's superstitions that I remember when I was a kid, and I still hang on to them. Why? Because it's a part of my African American roots. Okay, or I'm black roots or whatever. Okay, but just because I'm black doesn't mean that I'm this, or I do this, or I eat fried chicken, or whatever. Personally, I usually bake my chicken, okay? And watermelon is something I only buy. I only buy it because sometimes it's cheap. It's not my favorite fruit. And when I do eat it, I usually have to put salt on it. Otherwise, I have some sort of weird gag reflex, okay? But, I remember when I was younger, I used to know this Mexican girl, and she was telling me, we were eating at her house, and she was telling me that this one particular sauce was too hot, right? And because she was, Mexican, I stupidly and foolishly assumed that she could just slug down paste picante sauce like it was like water. And that's really stupid. But see, I kept thinking, in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, do Mexicans have taste buds? No, that's a really stupid thing to think, okay? But I was a kid at the time, okay? But you see adults walking around who believe bullshit in their head. And oftentimes that's the result of it, okay? Just because I'm a black woman doesn't mean that I'm goo-goo gaga over white men. You know what I mean? I'm just not. You know what I mean? You have to have a certain kind of character for me to be interested in you in the first place, okay? And so I'm not swayed or, intrigued by every white man that comes across my face. You know what I mean? And so I think a lot of people think that, and that's another misconception. It's a big misconception, okay? The context of the character matters more to me than anything else, okay? And I don't care what race you are. If you have certain qualities, then that's what I'm going to be attracted to, period. Okay? So I'm dealing with a lot of people who are misjudging over bullshit, okay? Just because a woman dresses nice and takes care of herself doesn't mean that she's trying to go out and get a man. I like clothes, okay? Whether men existed or not. That's what I like. It's who I am. It's what I do. If I was on an island and there was only women, okay, I would still be the same way. You know why? Because that's my passion. My passion of how I reflect myself. Nothing to do with anything else. And I will tell you why people make those assumptions is because that shit's on their mind, not mine. Okay? Because trust me, I understand clothes. I understand how to put them together and what kind of messages they can convey, okay? Now, if I wanted to dress slutty, I know exactly the kind of garments I would get. I don't have anything in my house that looks that way, okay? But I would probably get the shortest skirt, a strapless top, show my midriff, and wear some extremely high heels, okay? I wear Mary Jane shoes. Okay, I would say that my look comes off as very wholesome, for the most part. Yeah, I've worn mini skirts in the past, but if you notice, the style of the skirt that I was wearing at the time has always been something that looks rather presentable, okay? By the way, I don't wear mini skirts anymore, just regular skirts. But too much, man. There's too much shit that goes on, and gossip and shit, or people reflecting their shit onto me. I don't need that crap. Okay. I did have a conversation with. I would say the conversation ended on civil terms with Joel's aunt, cousin, whatever relation she is. Her mother called back, and she was being very apologetic, and I said, okay, fine, let's just move on, okay? And I think I kept it pretty cool and just left it at that. I don't want anything to do with that family, okay? And I think I put it very plain. I've already said that, So, I get really annoyed when people bring up bullshit that has nothing to do, or they'll throw in something that's completely irrelevant to the topic of the conversation. Okay? Obviously, I'm innocent in all this, okay? And I will stand by it, you know? It's not a coincidence that I get mobbed at organized sports, I get mobbed over at the farmer's place, I get mobbed at every other job that I've gone to, okay? And then all this weird shit's going on with my employment. That's not a coincidence. I have emails, I've got shit, I've got shit that I can show, documentation and timeline, which is the most important thing. You know what I mean? So it's not in my head. So I get really annoyed when people sit there and try to act like it is. The thing is that most people don't realize what they're doing is wrong. Okay? And what they're doing is wrong. Yes, I'm eager to get back to work. You know why? I'm tired of sitting in the house. You know? And I have to pay my bills, okay? But most of all, I do miss work. Okay? I miss work. I like to work. I like to be productive in life, you know? And being around the house all the time, it gets to be dreary. And not to mention, in a few months, my unemployment's going to run out. And I don't want to sit here and have to pay the entire unemployment amount. I've been doing that for the longest time. Okay? Because when you deal with relatives that think it's okay to collect disability, they feel like they're in a position to choose your job. They're going to take their sweet fucking time pulling a job together because they assume that you feel the same way that they do. Well, she could just write it out and collect unemployment. Fuck unemployment, okay? I don't like unemployment. The only reason why I'm very grateful that I have it, but I will tell you, I'm the kind of person, I want to get right back to work as quickly as possible. You know, I'm not one of those people who likes to sit around and get something for nothing. You know, which brings me back to another misconception, that a lot of people think black people are lazy. I will outwork anybody I know. Not on purpose, it's just that's just how I am. I have a very strong work ethic. Very strong work ethic. And so I resent people standing my way. I resent passive-aggressive stupidity for complying with these bullshitters and trying to make it look like, oh, she's an artistic person. Nothing about me is artistic when it comes to work, okay? I keep it straight. I'm a very analytical person, okay? The reason why I talk about religion and people's political views and things that relate to psychology is because I'm extremely analytical. That's the stuff that governs my entire life, okay? Just because I like a certain clothing from certain time periods or certain items from certain time periods, that just goes to show you that I'm a nostalgic person. You know what I mean? And I like to reflect that in my daily life. You know what I mean? And yeah, I do have different talents and things like that, but nothing I want to make money off of. You know? So, yeah. You know what I mean? These people aren't my family. And I don't want them to be my family. And if they want to be my family, well, you know what? I don't want them in my family. And there's nothing I can do to change that. Okay? There's nothing they can do to change that. You know? And it's not going to change my perception of them. Okay? What's done is done. You can't sit here and put this sort of bullshit on somebody and then turn around and say, let's be friends. Let's just no. For some people, that's great, okay? But I'm not one of those people. If you've done something that bad to me, the best thing we can do is say, you know what? Let's go our separate ways. Cut it. End it. Period. In peace. Okay? Because there is no more whatever. Okay? I never had a relationship with these people to begin with. But I will tell you, I will never have a relationship with them. Ever. Okay? So, anyway, the lady on the phone, I was cool to her, and I ended the conversation, And then when the farmer sent me a text basically saying that I ruined it, I didn't ruin his reputation, he did that on his own. Okay? That's the problem when people don't follow the right way of doing things. And that's the right way of doing things, okay? And the whole idea of, you can't blame me. I thought I was just taking orders from their family. They're not my family. They're not my family. They're not. And I've been saying this for the longest time. They're not my family. Don't want them to be my family. I have a right. I'm over the age of 18. I can walk out of their life anytime I want to, and not one person can say a damn thing about it. That goes for my blood relations as well as Joel. I don't want to be his wife. Okay? I made a big mistake marrying that man. Big mistake. Okay? And, you know, I don't wish him any harm, but at the same time, I don't want to see him again. And that's my choice. And that's the way it's going to be. So, anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I got one more thing to do tonight. I got to run across the street, and then I'm going to come in, take a shower, and head to bed. Because I will tell you, I've had a very draining day. And tomorrow, I will have to continue my job search. But I'm glad I contacted those agencies. I'm glad I did. Because they can never give me an adequate excuse. Oh, the one person said something about, because you don't have a bachelor's degree. Just by her saying that right there is discriminatory. That's bullshit. That's bullshit right there. So these people cannot come up with a legitimate excuse. They can't. Because they know they're lying, and I know they are. Okay, but with that being said, I'm tired of talking. I'm extremely tired of talking. But I wanted to make this video anyway. I have another one uploading on my cell phone right now. That's going to take a while. I mean, I made that video a few hours ago, and it's just like really taking its time uploading. So, anyway, I have to talk these things out. Because I'll tell you, sitting here in solitude all the time, and not having anybody I can trust that's close by me. Now, I have one friend I talk to, but not having anybody I can trust or have a real close relationship with, you gotta release that, because that's too much for one person to be carrying around inside of them. That's entirely too much. Entirely too much. And so this is my platform to release my tension. Okay, I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. I will be back at it bright early tomorrow. Take care, and I'll be back with another one later.